In this video, I'm going to talk about how much money I'm making right now working minimum wage in the UK and how much I'm spending every month. Ever since the cost of living started to go up, I have been trying to find ways to reduce my monthly expenses. I've got an online business and I can run it pretty much from anywhere. So my first idea was just to move to a cheaper country. So I moved to a city called Siem Reap in Cambodia with my family. And although we did manage to reduce our monthly expenses by quite a lot actually, in the end we still seem to be spending an awful lot of money every month. So we left Siem Reap and moved to an island about an hour off the coast of the Cambodian mainland. My thinking at the time was that there would be less things to spend money on an island as opposed to a city. And there was, obviously. And we, again, managed to drastically reduce our monthly expenses. But in the end, it turned out to be a complete disaster for everyone involved. We were constantly getting sick. There was never enough food. It would rain for days on end, and I basically became an alcoholic. I should say that the upside of living on what was basically a starvation diet was that I lost a lot of weight. Honestly, I've never looked better. So if you want to lose weight, and you don't mind being extremely depressed, then I'd recommend that you consider moving to an island and going on a starvation diet. I doubt I'll ever get down to my island weight ever again. In fact, the next time I weigh anything close to that, I will most likely be on my deathbed. The point being that my plan to reduce my monthly expenses didn't really work. And I've realized that it is basically impossible to live on a shoestring budget when you have a family support. So instead of reducing my monthly expenses, my new plan is just to try and make more money. So I decided to move back to the UK for a while and try to find a job. So that is basically what this video is about. Me returning to the UK to look for a job after about 15 years of working for myself overseas. I don't really have any skills and my CV has a 15-year gap in it. So my search was limited to minimum wage jobs. I didn't really want to get a job that involved interacting with the general public, so that limited my options a little bit further. And I didn't really want to have to report to any sort of boss, so that narrowed my options even more. In fact, it reduced my options all the way down to basically some sort of driving job. So I started applying to every driving job that I could find, and much to my surprise, despite having had a full UK driving license for 20 years, I started to get rejected by every single company that I applied to. First up was Royal Mail. They told me that I didn't meet the minimum requirements for the job. It's hard to imagine what those requirements could possibly be and exactly how I could fall short of meeting them. Next up, I applied to Tesco for a job delivering people's shopping, but alas, they rejected me as well. After that, I applied for a job escorting criminals from prison to court. They told me they were going in a different direction. Then I applied for a job teaching AI. Basically, you ask it questions and then you correct the answers, and I'm still waiting to hear back from them. Then I saw a job that basically involved taking kids to school and picking them up. And I got it. Minimum wage right now is $12.21 an hour, which is fine, but it's only 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week in total. So I had to search for a second job in order to make up the hours. And because I was now tied up from Monday to Friday, it would have to be a weekend job. Most weekend jobs involve working in a bar, which to me seemed like a monkey getting a job at the zoo, or retail, working in a clothes shop or something like that. But that would have brought me into direct contact with the general public, so I ruled that one out. Eventually I found a company looking for weekend delivery drivers. You might have heard of them. And for this job, I am technically self-employed, which means no sick pay, no holiday pay, no pension, and no lunch break. They also don't have to technically pay me minimum wage. They pay me a flat fee of £130 a day, and that is supposed to be for a 9-hour shift, but they don't include the time it takes to load the van or unload the van at the end of the day. If I finish early, I get more packages to deliver. And if I finish late, well, that's my problem. No overtime. They also track my every move using an app that I had to download on my personal phone. But I get to work all day by myself, which suits me. So in total, for the 15 hours a week that I drive kids to school, I make £183, 15 pence. And for the weekend Amazon job, I make £130 a shift. So that's £260 a week for that. So between the two jobs, that works out at £443, 15 pence a week, or £1,772, 60 a month, and that's before tax. After tax and national insurance is deducted from that figure, I'm left with £1,571, 93. So that's what I've been able to earn so far in the UK as a person with negligible value on the open job market. It's a few hours short of full-time work, but that being said, I am working 7 days a week. Obviously, how much you make is only part of the equation. The real question is there any money left at the end of the month after you've paid all your bills? So with that being said, the rent for this place is £500 a month. It's pretty much the cheapest place on the market right now. One small bedroom, small kitchen, but it's only a 10-minute walk to the pub. On top of the rent here in Scotland, you have to pay council tax, which for this place, which is in the cheapest category, is about 1,500 quid a year or £125 a month. That covers the water, rubbish collection and things like that. You actually get a discount of 25% as a person living alone, which brings it down to £100 a month. I haven't been using the heating much over the summer, but I reckon this is going to cost me £75 a month for the gas central heating as we begin our descent into winter here. And approximately £75 a month for the electricity. I use my laptop a lot and the oven is electric. So in total, to keep a roof over my head, it works out at £750 a month. I've been shopping exclusively at Aldi and my food bill for the month is 250 quid. On average, I get drunk about once a week. If I stick to the cheapest old man pub in the city, which is Wetherspoons, I can accomplish that for about 15 quid. So that's 60 quid for the month. The cost of transportation here has really gone up since I was a kid. I pay £8.60 for a day pass to get to the Amazon depot. So that works out at £68.80 for the month. I'll call that 70 quid to make things easier. Some other random things that I'm currently paying for. The internet is 30 quid a month. Phone is about £10 a month. And gym membership is another 30 quid a month. So if you add all these things up, my total expenses for the month are about 1,200 quid. So to answer the question posed by this video, yes, you can still survive on minimum wage in this country, at least as a single person, and you'll still have some money left over at the end of the month for incidentals. Problem is, I am not single. I have a wife and kid to support. They are currently living in Mexico. They had to leave the UK because my wife doesn't have a visa currently. So in my case, despite working 7 days a week, I'm actually losing money every month. So what's the point in that? Well, there is no point, obviously, but I don't want to end the video on a bad note. So here's some footage of me riding a motorbike.